Welcome back to the series of authenticity and inclusivity, where we're doing the new 10 weeks of series based on personality traits and the saboteurs on the concept on positive intelligence. Thank you for joining us wherever you are from the world, whether you're watching us live or in recording. So good morning to you, good afternoon from Europe, and good evening from those coming from Asia. And if you're joining us live, do note we can't see you, so you can put in a comment, a thumbs up, or anything that you want. If you can introduce yourself, any question you might have for myself or even Lucy, our guest, we'll come back to you shortly on your questions. And welcome again. I'm Aries, your host for today, and my guest, Lucy, which is an EQ and leadership coach. So I'm not going to summarize all over again what we're doing because I think we've done that quite a few times. So I'm going to jump straight in and talk about this hyperachiever, our topic for today, and how this hyperachiever, one of the saboteur, work together with our personality and hijack our authenticity and our inclusivity. So hyperachiever, I'm just thinking, how do I explain hyperachiever? Hyperachiever is kind of like dependent on constant performance, achievement, constant performance and achievement for your own self-respect and validation. So a person which is highly focused on external success, leading to you can see workaholic tendency and probably lose of touch with a deeper emotional and relationship. And Lucy, you want to add on to the?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Aries. It's a joy and privilege to be here and fun to explore together. With the hyperachiever, I think you touch on the key aspects of, kind of tying the sense of self-worth with how much they achieve. And it could be also for, the culture in the US, working a lot is almost like a badge of honor, not sleeping enough, being exhausted. So I think that's the actually hyperachiever messing with a lot of people and with a lot of high performers. So I think that's relevant to anyone who is who is a high achiever, but has a tendency to burn out, I would say.
Can I add one more point? You say US, but yes. I haven't been to US, but of course I meet a lot of people from the United States. I say this is definitely a trait in a lot of Asians.
That's true too.
So absolutely. I guess when it comes to the hyperachiever, the saboteur, there's really no gender. No age barrier, no culture, no nationality.
True. That's a good point, actually. Yeah,
I definitely see a lot in some of my clients. I wouldn't say all, a lot of my clients, and that's across gender, across culture.
That's true.
And across continental, whether is it Europe, US, or even Asia, you really seen that. And I think maybe one of the tendency I like to add, maybe it's easier to say that I think Shifsa like to say it's like a monster that needs to be constantly fed. But this monster that want to be fed is not food or sleep. Like me, I like to be sleep. I like to lots of sleep, but it's need to be fed with lots of achievement. It's like you finish one, going for the next one, and before the next one finish, I'm planning for the next one, and then going for the next one, and keep going and keep going and keep going. So the tendency is you get burnout.
And they cannot actually enjoy their wins because, okay, what's next? If I don't continue achieving, I'm worth nothing.
Yeah. So I think the void is coming from that self-acceptance. Kind of like I need to be good enough. To be good enough, I need to prove myself. To prove myself, I need to have this. And when I've done this, I need to do this. I do this, I need to do this, and I need to do this, I need to do this, and then that keep going on.
Yeah, and I wonder how that kind of manifests different ways in different personalities, what they care really about, what is their sense of self-worth connected with the achievement, and how they kind of manifest. Should we dive in?
Yeah. Before diving, can I just pause here for just a second? I just thinking about hyperachiever, I'm looking at behavior, is more kind of outward, right? Rather than inward. As in, it looked like, see whether you agree with me, it's more, look like a person who is more kind of extrovert because he's always looking for achievement. You can see solid things. It's more assertive towards aggressive style kind of thing rather than passive. What do you think?
You know, I would say that even introverted people can definitely have hyperachiever. Yeah. I am kind of halfway introverted. Okay. I can be extroverted.
Interesting discussion. Okay, so let's start with the diving in for the first one. Let's talk about our D, the dominance, who have the traits of a driver, a dominance, and achieving. So I definitely see a very obvious link and connection because D is about outward. They want to make sure they're very focused, but task focused, getting results. So I would definitely see achiever there.
We are aligned there, yes.
Yeah.
Listen, something.
Yeah.
Yes. The dominant personality style definitely is focused on getting results. So lots of self-worth and kind of the dopamine and enjoyment in a way comes from reaching goals, getting things done, which can be strength. It's a beautiful strength, and we definitely need that, getting things done. And somebody who is focused on targets, on hitting goals, on achieving and moving forward, that's really valuable. The problem is when they are hijacked by the hyperachiever. So what could happen when a dominant personality style, somebody who is very goal-driven, gets hijacked by the hyperachiever?
Yeah, because as what we're talking about, this dominance D star, right? Which I say is very driven and goal-oriented, self-directed. Just if we just take a pause and look at the kind of, I would say driven is a strength. I mean, if you're not driven, another thing that comes to mind, which is the opposite, is like, whatever, get done, just lay back, you know.
It is a strength.
Driven
it's beautiful strength.
It is. You are so focused on getting things done. It's directed from inside rather than from outside. Very similar to the hyperachiever strength. But we're not covering in here. But in the strength profile, I was saying that any strength that you have, which is your innate strength that you're good in, but when you overuse it, is actually can cause problem, which is what like this case, like the saboteur. What happens when we overuse this strength of being driven, being self-directed, goal-oriented, which is a D, which they overuse it, what will happen? Burnout. Likely to be burnout because you do too much of it and go, and you never realize, never kind of pause and say, well, I achieved this, I put in so much work and effort, time to celebrate and chill off. But I don't think chill, that word, is in the hyperachiever definite dictionary.
You know, I probably not. You know, I was thinking about like we could look at it. What is the impact of the hyperachiever on the person? And also, what is the impact on people around them? When let's say a leader is hijacked, he's a high-performing leader, but he's hijacked by the hyperachiever. So as you mentioned, there's a burnout. So it's kind of an impact on the person. What could be an impact in the behavior when the leader is hijacked by the hyperachiever? What can happen on a team?
My God. I really can see that now. If your leader is a superstar performance, I have to say as a subordinate, it's very, very stressful. I was like, God, my boss is too good. And it's like doing this and then boss said, do that. And boss said, it's like, it's how to say, it's like, I'm forever chasing after my boss. And I haven't got a time to take a breath and I got to run again. I'm running out of breath now. So I didn't even get a time to have a sip of water. I think That's probably the impact. That's what I would feel. I mean, if I have a super performance, star boss, what would I be feeling? Stress. I'll be so scared.
Yeah. So the impact on the team when the leader is hijacked by the hyperachiever is like stress, I'm hearing. Maybe anxiety, not feeling good enough. Maybe overwhelm. Mm-hmm. And I wonder how empathy, would that be more empathy from the leader or hardly any empathy?
That's a good one. That's a good one. I want to pause there a little bit because I think this 10 weeks of series, I want to be focused. If not, we will speak for over an hour. We never finish. We want to focus on the traits of what's a hyperachiever. And hyperachiever come from, like we say, the strength. It's an overuse of the strength. What is the devastating effect? And what do we see in your so-called preference dominant personality traits, how they intertwine with the saboteur and how that kind of come out. And after when finished with this, we will focus more onto the sage perspective, the sage power, and again talk about the personality and how that will help us to be more authentic and inclusive. But today we're going to talk about how that hijack our authenticity and our inclusivity.
Yeah, so it definitely hijacks inclusivity, sounds like. The people who are not performing well, the leader can be really very directive with them versus kind of a coach-like, I would say, in behavior, possibly, how it manifests.
Yeah, definitely. We are not being inclusive if we're just thinking that, oh, it's achieving. As a boss, you are such a superstar in performance. Naturally, there is that pressure from feeling on the team on the ground. And I'm just wondering, how would that affect our authenticity if you are a super performance and with a personality style of a D, driven, goal-driven, self-directed, I just want to achieve, let's go, and it's big picture. The detail, you sort out yourself, right? D is like, it's not that he doesn't bother, it's just that he's a big picture person and he's so driven. It's like, how would that affect the authenticity?
That's a great question.
I see authenticity is about being true to yourself. But if you notice this, right, we're not saying that being, like we say, there is a strength, but when you're taking it too far, which is what the saboteur is, right? So hyperachiever come from the strength, which every one of them. So it comes from the strength, but it's when it's taken too far, it hijack us. Likewise, this D have its strength as well, similar strength. But when it's taken too far, it's hijacked. So when you're taking too far, are you still being authentic? Because authentic is about being spontaneous, being free. But if you are just chasing that achievement, that need for validation, how authentic are you? I guess that is a question that I would ask.
What came up for me as you are sharing that is they are not really free because they cannot pass. They're driven by the lack, by the fear when they're hijacked. So they really kind of suppress their body's needs for rest. Maybe their relationships, even in the family, suffer because they're so focused on performing, let's say, at work. That's where they get the self-worth. So do they, they actually are not really able to enjoy their life, their successes. So are they really free, or they are beating themselves up all the time and being mean to themselves in their head all the time?
Yeah. I think I like what you say, then are they truly free? And I think when you're being authentic, there is a sense of that spontaneous curiosity and that freedom within. Not about wanting to get it out for others, but for yourself.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to be mindful of the time. We're 15 minutes past.
Oh my. I think we need to shift to the next one.
Shall we go on this way, the cycle, and we go to the I is the inference. So I is also kind of an extrovert personality. But the main difference between an I and a D is, of course, D is more task, I is more people, but they're both big picture. They're both so-called more proactive, outgoing personality.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to see how does this I personality link in with a hyperachiever.
I have some ideas.
Can
I share? So as you mentioned, the D is more task-oriented, goal-oriented. The I is more people-oriented. So there's a different motivation. And I wonder the hyperachiever, if that hijacks also the motivation. So the self-worth for the D comes from achieving the task, getting things done. It's kind of inside driven. I'm worthy when I get it done. For the extroverted, influencing people, it's more, I am worthy when I can influence others, when other people accept me, when other people validate me. So it's driven, I have to succeed, I have to achieve so that other people validate me, so that I get what I need from people. So they can still be hyperachievers, just the motivation is different. It's not like self-worth validation from I did it, of more when I achieve, then the other people will finally accept me and like me. What comes up for you?
The main difference between I and D, I felt D is really about wanting to achieve the task, so very task focused. But I is about a lot of needing validation. So for I is about acceptance. So long to gain your acceptance, I'll do all of these things.
Yeah.
So, which is why it can look like an achiever. They're all doing all the tasks, but the underlying objective is about please validate me, which is very close to a hyperachiever, right? So it's like externally, I'm doing all these action, but actually all this what you see above the iceberg is the behavior, but beneath the iceberg is actually the motivation of I need to be validated, I need to be accepted, which the eyes come from. So the key of I is about acceptance. They need to be accepted, which is why they do a lot of things outwardly.
So what would be the impact when the I is hijacked by the hyperachiever? Any difference from the D and the impact on others? Let's say if it's a team leader.
I haven't think about what's impact for others, but I would say on self, the impact is definitely there. It's constantly chasing for validation, acceptance, which is what the I is about. So that is the core of I. But the impact on others, you could feel pressure as well, Ro. Because you see, I personality, okay, I'm talking about, of course, in reality, not many people would just be a pure I. There are, and a super high I. There's an intensity level. So if the intensity is very high, the person is very like, oh yeah, let's go, let's like cheerleader, right?
Yeah.
So your boss is like always telling you to go and cheering you on and doing this and that. It can be a little bit tiring too.
Oh yeah. So also like exhaustion was like, oh my God, not anymore rah meetings. Just get it done.
I think especially I would feel that it will be especially tiring for an introvert.
Yes, absolutely. Like too much talk.
Some quiet time, some cell time. Give me a few moments. Yeah.
So for some people, it could be too much, kind of. And when still going back, to impact to self, I'm wondering if that could, let's say they don't achieve what they wanted, and they don't get the validation from others. If that's gonna impact like their self-confidence. So being hijacked by the hyperachiever and not getting the validation they want, or not getting it all the time, which is impossible in a way, their confidence can be really affected negatively.
Because I have a lot of I need to be kind of elevated from others. It's like acknowledgement from other people. When you don't get that, you will kind of like a balloon, you go. So people need to blow into the balloon to get it bigger, right? So when nobody is blowing in, the balloon go. So I'll say that it's more the I personality.
What a metaphor. I love it.
I don't know, it just came out. Okay. That's the
So yeah, they're kind of
personality.
deflated, right? And it could be path also to depression in a way. And it's like lack of motivation. When I cannot achieve it, maybe I'm not good enough. Why even try?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it could be starting with the hyperachiever. But when things don't go the way they should, then there could be, they can go down to the
either way, right? Because your
like deflated.
personality is there. You want to be with people and you want to bring people along and you want to be accepted, which is a little bit of component of the hyperachiever as well. And when that is not achieved, the so-called, you don't get the acknowledgement, the cheers and everything, you get
completely
I,
deflated emotionally.
And then of course, a hyperachiever, it's kind of quite difficult to achieve that, Hyperachiever is a lot about the external task achieving. So quite similar to the D side because it's about physical achieving thing. But the I is not just physical achieving tasks, but it's about getting people
I need to achieve so then I am validated.
Yeah.
It's for the D.
People, so it's So in a sense, there is a subtle little kind of
little difference.
Yeah.
For the D, I need to achieve so that I validate myself. For the I need to achieve so the others validate me.
That's a good one. Okay.
Should we go?
Let's move on, shall we? To the S. S is very different now. Very gentle soul, very supportive. The introvert. So how do you think the S intertwine with the hyperachiever? Because it's less active in the sense, like and whenever I see achiever, I always see that there is a lot of things in the forefront about achieving tasks. So S has less of that component because it's more about whatever I do is really about people, and they do it in a very gentle manner.
Yes. And I would say I can also see how the hyperachiever could combine with the S. I've had experience with that person.
Do you want to tell us more about the S with the hyperachiever having fun together?
Yes. So let me share and see what you think about that. So when the hyperachiever combines with the supportive style of a personality, so what is their motivation in a way? So what makes them feel worthy? When they do things, when they support other people, they feel valuable when they can, be helpful. So they do a lot of things for other people, and they could achieve a lot. So they provide for other people. So the intention, the motivation is not so other people accept me or like me for how fun and awesome person I am, but it's more so they value me for all the work I've done for them, for all the things I provide for them. What do you think of that?
Yes, that's definitely the S trademark about, being supportive. To do that is like what I can do to help people. And I'm just wondering actually, to be honest, the hyperachiever, we all have that trademarks a little bit here and there. I think for the D, is very obvious because it kind of go together, the same kind of traits they have: driven, goal-orientated, task-orientated. So it's very obvious there. And the I is kind of subtle a little bit because it's more people about validating me. So it's underneath there, but it's similar. But the S itself is really a little bit difficult to kind of link it together because S is really introvert, so you don't see them chasing after tasks or achievement, because hyperachiever is like chasing achievement. So S don't really chase achievement. S is more about me trying to be supportive, so to help people in a nice way is validating me, something like that.
I would say it depends also what is the definition of the achievement. So for D, it could be a different definition than for the S. For the S, the definition of achievement is to provide for the family, let's say. It's to get enough money so I can provide, so they don't need to work. Could be one, right? Or it could be I take care of my aging parents and provide for them everything. And when it's at high, when they're, hijacked by the hyperachiever, they want to provide everything. And what could be the impact on themselves and the others? Again, burnout, not taking care of their own needs, getting sick. So it could be like physical symptom, physical illness, because they're not really taking care of themselves, which the S, already focusing on the others, has a tendency
I need to support other people.
Exactly.
That's a very good one. It's not like so obvious, like I need to achieve this and that, but it's about supporting. In order to support, I need to do A, B, C, and D. Yeah.
And the others, I need to make the other people successful.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different definition of the success. And so they can still be driven by achieving. Just it looks a little different than for the D achievement. Could be like the outside success, having the degree, having amount of money. For the S person, the achievement could be, I provided, I support these people. These people are more successful because of me.
A good one. Thank you, Lucy. I'm mindful. We better jump to
ours. Oh my God, yes, the last one.
So, C, it's introvert like the S, but it's different from the S, where it's very task-driven, very analytical, very detail-orientated. I would see a little bit of the connection to everything they do. There's a bit of perfectionism, so everything they do need to have the detail. So the achievement is that I get this job done nicely.
Exactly. Yeah. How perfectly I can get it done. And I need to get it done the most perfectly all the time. Otherwise, I'm not achieving. I'm not worthy, or is not working anymore.
Yeah. So the achievement is kind of, to them, like I say, the definition of achievement. And the achievement is really their definition of the achievement. And to achieve, they have to come up to a certain, I won't say certain standard, come up to their standard.
Oh yeah, certain quality of work. They have to achieve a certain quality, which is a wonderful trait and very needed and important trait. Only when it goes too far, that can be troublesome also for themselves, as well as the impact on the others. For themselves, probably high anxiety. Also working too many hours because they just need to get it right and find the right way. So it fits perfectly. What comes up for you?
I definitely say that this is really hijacking the inclusivity, because I mean, like I say, you want to do a great job, you want a lot of detail, that's fine. But if you meet an I or a D, they will be probably vomiting blood. It's like, why you do so much detail? Get it done. You just have all the details you need now. Just go. And then this D is like, no details. My mind is blank. I need all these things. And then the D and I is like, what? You have all this high level information, then you can start go and then just go and get it done. So I think the inclusivity will be quite challenging with the diverse kind of preference. I would say preference. They all have so the D's is about a preference star. So they have this preference, and somebody else totally different. It can be quite difficult to be inclusivity.
Oh my God! Imagine a boss that is hijacked by the hyperachiever and detail oriented. And tells it to, and assigns a task to somebody who is a D personality or I, and they don't want the details.
Yeah, I think if your boss is a C and a hyperachiever, and then you are a D, okay, I can achieve, but giving you all the details is very stressful. They'll be like stressing all the while. And I'm just, with 1 minute, I'm just thinking about quickly about how about this C with authenticity. You see, having a lot of details, doing things their way is their way of doing things, so that they are being authentic. But I'm just thinking, when you play with the achiever, how that sabotage your authenticity, as in being spontaneous and being true to your core self?
Well, what comes up for me is, again, they are not free. They have high levels of anxiety and exhaustion. because they try to do so many things the perfect way, even the things that are not as important when you look at the bigger picture, but because they don't have the strength of seeing the bigger pictures, they want to do everything, every single thing completely perfectly. That's very exhausting. So are they free? Can they be curious? Or the hyperachiever, they're just driven by, no, you have to do everything perfectly or you're worthless? What comes up for you?
I feel that as we are talking about the compliance person, a lot of stickler came up to me. It kind of linked together.
Yeah.
So and a kind of easily kind of linked together. I definitely see a D with a hyperachiever. They kind of go hand in hand. The C, like I said, we all have that hyperachiever trademark in us, a little bit here, a little bit there. Maybe some is less, some is more, right? So it's probably not as strong in a C as a hyperachiever than a stickler. That's how I see. So that's what come out for me. And I'm just thinking in terms of time, we are a bit overrun by minutes. And I just thought maybe it's kind of wrapping up a little bit on this.
Sounds good.
Hyperachiever. So hyperachiever is, the thought is, some of the thoughts is about must be efficient, effective, which I think C definitely have. It's like I must be efficient, effective, which is why I need the detail.
Yep.
What else the thoughts they have? There must be, if I can't be outstanding, I won't be bothered. Sound like probably an I. I don't know. Because I need to be like, I'm good, I don't know. Yeah. I must be best at what I do. Which personality thoughts, traits do you think will come into these thoughts?
I need to be best at what I do. I guess the D. Absolutely.
Yeah. And one more thing is for the hyperachiever, emotion get in the way of performance. Let's not get emotional. Let's leave it out. I can definitely see the D and C.
That's D as well. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because they just focus on the task. Let's get it done and just achieve it. Let's not get into the emotional part. So that's interesting to see that some of them is more obvious in terms of personality. Some is less obvious. But I think in terms of the achiever, the need to be good in what we are doing, to be outstanding. If not, I can't be bothered, efficient, effective, no emotion. Even things like I need to be worthy so long that only I'm successful, because then others will think well of me. So I think I have a little bit of everything in there, but some of that is more obvious than others. Yeah.
Exactly. So all of us can be hijacked. It just manifests a little bit differently. And sometimes it's completely obvious. Sometimes it's like in hidden ways. Yes.
So it's about noticing that feelings, noticing the thoughts and the behavior, because it will appear very differently based on the personality traits and of course circumstances.
Yeah. And that's the first step.
Yeah.
The awareness is the first step actually in creating the change and setting ourselves free, being more at peace with ourselves and others too. Thank you, Aries. That was a fun discussion.
Yeah, and of course, I will encourage those who have watched the recording on live to have a think about your own thoughts, your own feeling, your own behavior, and what comes up for you. Lucy, one last word before we close here.
One more thing. What is our next topic for next week?
Oh, that's a good one. Which one will it be? After hyperachiever, we should look at hyper-rational.
Yeah, let's do that one. That will be a fun conversation.
Yeah, so look out for our posts, and we will be same time here next week and talk about hyper-rational.
Looking forward to it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.